Health Cabinet Secretary Deborah Barasa has directed state departments within her ministry to assess the financial and human resource implications of the United States' recent aid suspension. Addressing the media, Barasa noted that it will guide the government in devising effective interventions. She expressed optimism that a resolution will be reached despite the challenges posed by the funding freeze.
With regards to U.S. government and what was given as an executive order. So as the Ministry of Health, I have tasked the various state departments, the various programs and directors that have been involved or that will be affected by this, so that we can be able to map out and look at the impact in matters finances, in matters human resource, etc. And with this, we will come up with a concrete way forward in terms of interventions, of which we'll be able to share.
The aid cut follows an executive order by U.S. President Donald Trump shortly after his swearing in. The directive, which mandates a halt on all foreign aid and a review of existing programs, has respect concern among countries relying on U.S. support. Kenya, recipient of substantial U.S. aid in the health sector, now faces potential disruptions in various health initiatives.
Pearl Newsbeat.
Pressure is building on 7 Supreme Court judges after 13 lawyers filed a petition seeking their removal from office. The lawyers under Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi advocates accused the judges of misconduct for barring them from appearing before the court. The petition filed with the Judicial Service Commission cites Article 168(1) of the Constitution, which outlines the grounds for the removal of Superior Court judges. The petition targets Chief Justice Martha Koome, Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mulu, Mohammed Ibrahim, Dr. Smokin Wanjala Njoki Ndungu, Isaac Lenaola and Woko. Lawyers urged the JSC to recommend the suspension to President William Ruto and request the formation of tribunals to investigate the matter.
Pearl Newsbeat.
National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah has urged MPs to refocus on their constitutional duties and address misinformation about legislative proposals. Speaking at a Naivasha retreat, Ichung'wah raised concerns over the Senate dominating key issues and called for stronger oversight from departmental committees. He stressed the National Assembly's role in representing the people, highlighting that many issues affecting constituents have recently been handled by the Senate, questioning the effectiveness of the National Assembly's committees.
Honorable Speaker, is important because we have seen in the last 2 years many of our departmental committees, issues that are topical in the country, issues that concern the people we represent, being taken up by the other house. And Honorable Speaker, if you read the Constitution clearly, it is the National Assembly that represents the people. The Senate represents the counties, and therefore topical issues on issues that touch on our constituents and on Kenyans, the first point of call should be the National Assembly.
Minority Leader of the National Assembly, Junet Mohammed, on his part called for bipartisan cooperation in Parliament. Junet emphasized the need for unity, stating that no single party can tackle the country's issues alone.
Fourth session, be conscious of the importance of fostering bipartisan approach when engaging in our legislative and other businesses. The challenges facing our nation are too great to be solved by a single party. We must appreciate that our work in the fourth session comes against the backdrop of a broad-based government. I therefore urge us to embrace this spirit, put our differences aside, and work towards discharging our mandate as a collective, despite concerns and criticisms regarding the motivation behind the formation of the broad-based government.
ICT and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary William Kaboko has dismissed the claims of any plans to shut down social media in Kenya. Speaking to the press, Kaboko clarified that such discussions are not on the table and should not be considered. He was responding to recent suggesting he intended to regulate social media platforms. Kaboko emphasized that his focus is on ensuring Kenyans can express themselves freely without harming others. Additionally, he announced plans to create a platform for direct engagement with the citizens on ICT matters and improve the sector. Kaboko also explained that calls for social media companies to establish local offices aim to facilitate critical discussions with the government regarding platform usage.
The first measure is to understand that we need to create a good environment within use of social media. And I said this the other day, and I said we are not planning to switch off anything. It's not in our minds. I made a caption on top of that and said the capacity is there. Of course the capacity is there. in case we have situations of national security importance. For example, you know what happened to Rwanda when the radios were used for genocide purposes. If that happens, we'll switch them off. But we have no other situation where we have thought of doing. Why can't it be self-regulating?
A 42-member task force led by former Deputy Chief Justice Nancy Barasa was sworn in today to investigate the alarming rise of femicide cases in the country. The task force was appointed by President William Ruto, mandated to assess, review and recommend measures to strengthen the institutional, legal and policy response to gender-based violence and femicide. This move comes in response to reports that around 70 women were killed in 2024 alone, marking the deadliest year for femicide in the country. In a report dubbed Silencing Women, it was revealed that over 100 were committed by individuals known to the victims. The victims between the ages of 18 and 35 accounted for the highest number of femicide cases, with the intimate partner violence being the leading cause of death. Speaking during the swearing-in, the task force chair Nancy Barasa said that the task force will provide a report and issue recommendations to address gender-based violence.
And we promise we are going to serve the Republic diligently. This is a task that calls for our collective action as a country. And with the background that we have, I am sure that we are going to do the best that we can and fulfill our mandate.
And across borders, the African Union has announced that the highly anticipated elections for the next African Union Commission chairperson will take place on February 15th and 16th, following the election of 6 commissioners on February 12th to 13th. The elections will occur in 3 rounds, with the voting process continuing until a candidate secures a 2/3 majority. Kenya's former Prime Minister Raila Odinga is among the candidates vying for the AUC chairperson position, competing against Djibouti's Mohamed Ali Yusuf and Madagascar's Richard
Pearl Radio, the home of fresh and classic hits.